Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm going to be doing the integer multiplication algorithm today. So the definition of multiplication is having a bunch of groups, each having the same number of items in them, and then counting the total number of items. And just a side note, you are expected to know single-digit multiplication tables for this kind of algorithm. So what we're doing is we're multiplying 2,379 times 1,204. So what this means is that we have 1,204 groups of 2,379 things. So we're going to start by drawing this out. And obviously we're not going to draw it out 1,204 times, but we can put some dots in the middle and say that that's what it is. And to simplify and break this down, we have 1,000 groups of 2,379. We have 200 groups from the 200 right there. And then we also have 4 groups from that singles digit. And that rods or tens place just doesn't have anything. It's a 0, so we don't have to worry about it right now. So we're going to start by multiplying everything by these four groups of 2,379 things. So we have the 4 here, and we're going to draw it out. We're going to draw 2,379 4 different times. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply them across or group them together, and we can do that horizontally so that we can get all the singles and then the rods and then the flats and the supercubes. So we take our 4 groups of 9 singles going across this way, or our 4 times 9 right there, and we get 36 singles, which is also 3 rods and 6 singles. So we're going to keep that singles in this place, so we're going to put the 6, and then we carry the 3 for the rods. Then we're going to have 4 groups of 7 rods, so we have our 7 rods 4 times across, and that's 28 rods plus that 3 that we had from up above carried over. So that's 31 rods, which also is equal to 3 flats and 1 rod. So we keep that 1 rod down below, and then we carry the 3 flats up above. Next, we're going to do the same thing. We have our 4 groups of 3 flats this time, going straight across, or a 4 times 3, or 300 we could say. And then that is equal to 12 flats plus the 3 flats we had carried from up above. So we have 15 flats, which is also equal to 1 supercube and 5 flats. So once again, we're going to keep those 5 flats down below and then carry the 1 supercube. So then finally, we're going to do 4 groups of 2 supercubes. So we have our 2 supercubes at 4 times, and that is equal to 8 supercubes plus the 1 supercube that we had carried from above, which equals 9 supercubes, and we just leave that 9 there and don't have to carry anything else. So that is our 4 groups of 2,379 things. 2,379. And it's equal to 9,516 with our 4 groups right there. So the next thing that we're going to do, if you've ever done multiplication before, you know that for some reason we need to put a 0 in the next place, just as a placeholder, but we don't know why. So I'm going to cover that now. What we need to do is we're going to make supergroups. So we have our 2,379, and we're going to make those into supergroups depending on what number we're working with. So for this first time, we're going to make it into 10 supergroups, and because we're working in the tens place up above. So we would have drawn it out 10 times, just putting the little dots in the middle again, and we're going to group the similar places or objects together. So we're going to group our singles going across horizontally because we're working with base 10s, so then we have 10 singles together, which leads to 1 rod. We would do that each time, having all the rods combined to a flat, flats to a supercube, etc. So we know that that is, as each place moves up 1, then we can put in a 0. When we multiply by 10, that means we're going to just not have any singles left over, so we put a 0 in the singles place. Then what we would do is we would do the same process as over here with the 4 groups of 9, 7, 3, and 2. But this time, instead of the 4, we're working with 0. So really we're multiplying 0 groups of 9, 0 groups of 70, etc. So each time we're really just needing to put in a 0. Then we would do the same thing, but with our supergroups, we would have 100 supergroups of 2 because we have that 2 from up above, and we need to have the placeholder move over 2 spots now. So we're going to put in 2 zeros from the 100. So you'd continue on down. We have our 4 groups, our 0 groups, our 200 groups, and from right here, and then our 1,000 groups from right here. And as we can see from up above, we do have the same thing with our 4 groups, we don't have the 0, the 200 groups, and the 1,000 groups, which overall equals 1,204 groups of 2,379 things. So when we have all of those, we're going to add them up vertically, adding first all the singles, then the rods, then the flats, etc. So what we get is we get 2,864,316 things that are in this 1,204 groups of 2,379 things. And that is how we do multiplication.